So in this video, I'm talking about, is it possible to never have any sugar whatsoever in your diet and to only have sugars that come from things like fruits or vegetables? Is it possible? The answer is yes. I don't consume anything with sugar in it. It is doable. However, in an environment where you're surrounded by sugary foods, an environment where you're surrounded by something that does taste good. Because let's be real, sugar tastes fantastic. It's difficult, but I think that there aren't enough examples of people out there who actually do it and who talk about how they do it. So this video, I'm going to talk about the fact that you can do it. Hopefully, you have some perspectives, and it makes it that much easier for those of you out there trying to limit sugars from your life. So in this video, I'm talking about the fact that it is possible to never have dessert and never have any sweet foods or sugars added to your diet and still be happy. So first off, before I go any further, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. I have had a tremendous amount of support for this channel. I really appreciate every single one of you tuning in, and do be sure to like and subscribe, and also hit that bell so you're notified the second the new content comes out. I work really, really hard to put new content out as quickly as I can. So do stay tuned, because you will be seeing a lot of stuff coming out, and there's a lot more things down the pipeline. So in the past, I made a video about how to stop eating sugar without losing your mind. You can take a look at the video card there and links in this particular video as well to get a look at that one in case you haven't seen it. But today I want to talk a little bit more about the fact that our culture does a lot to harm us. Processed foods are driven primarily by sugar. And most of what we see and most of what we hear in terms of nutritional information is also influenced by some degree by these massive industries, multi-billion-dollar industries that have a huge vested interest in making sure that you continually consume sugar and sugary foods. If we look at the food pyramid, the American food pyramid has foods that are processed with sugar, which anyone from a holistic point of view would look at and say that the idea of moderation is difficult, because how do you moderate something that's addictive? Is it possible if sugar activates our HPA axis, the very same axis that's activated whenever someone takes cocaine or opioids? And we all know how much of a problem those drugs are. But somehow or the other, it's okay for us to advocate a minimum amount of foods that are actually designed by corporations to be as addictive as possible. Corporations spend a lot of money researching the exact amount of sugar, the exact amount of fat, and sometimes the exact amount of salt as well, and the combinations to create as much of an HPA axis response as possible, which will make their foods addictive, which will make you want to eat more, which will ultimately put you in a place where you don't have 100% control over eating them. All these ideas put into our heads from marketers who are just trying to sell their products. And it seeps into even the health recommendations that we have, because those very corporations that make so much money creating sugary foods are also the ones that make up a tremendous and significant part of the American economy. So the American government cannot, in good conscience, create a food pyramid based on what the reality of what healthy eating should be, because it would shut down a massive segment of how we make money in this particular economy. We've come to a place where we're entangled with the food industries, and we're entangled with processed foods in a way that what's best for marketing policy has also become, unfortunately, part of the health guidelines. And we can see from the fact that so many people are obese, we can see from the fact so many people are overweight, and we can see from the fact so many people do their best to eat healthy and eat sugary foods in moderate amounts and still have problems. What we don't see, or what we don't hear, is the fact that there are people out there who don't consume sugar. When we have people in the fitness industry who use drugs in order to create a lean look without focusing on good nutrition, they can eat whatever they want. And you see them eating whatever they want. In fact, I even have been told that I needed to put more footage of me eating junk food because it helps you bond with your audience on social media platforms. It makes you feel like you're one of them. This from people who I know for a fact, when the warm weather comes around, they start using drugs. They still pretty much eat whatever they want and they look fantastic. And these are the people who we look to as examples. These are the people who give us this idea that you can have some sugar, you can have some dessert, and you'll be fine. You won't. It's very difficult for most people to have sugar in moderation. And here's the other problem. We don't know how much sugar creates a problem when it comes to trying to lose weight and lean out. We don't know. And it's probably individual. What I do know from 30 years of working with people is that if you cut it out completely, the results you get can be tremendous. But I also know from 30 years of work people and from my own life that it's extremely hard. I've been able to do this because I am not at all a visitor from a strange planet with superpowers, even though I'm wearing a Superman shirt. I wear Superman shirts and I wear superhero outfits to remind people about how powerful they can be. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing extraordinary about me. All I am is someone who actually does what he says he does. I don't use drugs and I eat a diet where I don't have sugar in my diet at all. But there's a way to do it. And the way you do it is by having only high fiber, naturally occurring foods. Any carbohydrates I'm going to consume have to be extremely high in fiber. In fact, in subsequent videos, we'll be talking about the importance of fiber. I feel that when we talk about how to get into shape, it's all about protein. It's all about what's the carbohydrate, numbers, what's the hit, what's the fat numbers, what's to eat. No one talks about the important ones, which are fiber. Fiber is extremely important because fiber is what allows you to be in a place where you don't have those cravings. You don't have that sense of I need. And if you can get to a place, and this is really important, if you can get to a place where you're having high fiber foods and you're abstaining completely from sugary foods, you'll see how good you feel. And then you need to remember how good you feel. And you're probably going to slip. You're probably going to fall on your face. You're going to see something somewhere, eat something, completely go for it. But then I need to remember how you felt and just get right back up. Because that's what I did. I wasn't born as someone who didn't eat sugary foods. I had a normal childhood like everybody else. I grew up in Trinidad where there wasn't access at that time to that many sugary foods. And when I came to the United States at 20 years old, I made a resolution that I wasn't going to try everything. I was going to pretty much stay on the humble side and have a life where I wanted to get to a place where I wanted to see what it was like to not ever eat sugar and how I would feel. And from the decision to wanting to get to that place, to getting to that place took decades of dedicated work. When I did get there, it felt fantastic. It felt unbelievable. It felt like I wanted to just take the feeling that I had, the energy that I have, and share with every single person I met. But I can't do that. I wish I could, because if I could just reach into the screen and put you into my body to have you see and feel what it's like to not have sugar in your diet and be in a place where you're really at peace when it comes to food, it'd be fantastic. And I can't do that, but I can cheer you on. I can cheer you on. I can tell you that because I did it, it means you can do it. Now, a lot of fitness personalities are all about, oh, look how great I am. Look what I did. I'm not about that at all. What I'm about is this. If someone was able to run a 5-minute mile, it made it possible for everybody coming afterwards to do the same. And it's the same thing. That's all I am. I'm a pace setter. I'm here to help you realize you can set the pace and get away from this idea that you have to eat sugar. You don't have to. Think about your ancestors. Your ancestors didn't have access to sugar on a regular basis, almost none whatsoever, and they were fine. In fact, they probably were a lot healthier and a lot more robust than we are today, and they'd also be feeling better. And I think that the feeling better is one of the parts that's important. It's important to be in a place where you're not slave to your foods, to be in a place where you don't feel like you're controlled and you have that overwhelming sense of guilt and addictive cycle of wanting something that you know you shouldn't have and then feeling powerless and just terrible after you do. It is possible. It doesn't have to be part of your food pyramid. And you'll be just fine. All I am here is someone saying it's possible you can do this. I hope this video helps you on your quest to not have any desserts whatsoever. And I hope it also reminds you of the fact that you can do a lot more than you think. And do feel free to contact me either on Instagram. You can see my Instagram over here or here in the comment section. I am here to help you. I've been blessed with all these years of experience helping people get off eating sugar. And if I can help you, it would be not just a privilege, but an honor. Thanks again for tuning in, and Excelsior.